I would just like to keep it very short, if that's okay with you, so that we can have a discussion. Because otherwise we will have a repetition of issues coming back again. However, I want to start with a small little movie that I want to make to actually show scale levels, which is, I find always very instructive, because it's when moving around the territory, you don't feel the enormous territories that you go about. So let's see if it works. So basically, it starts on a level that we can all understand. This is a tree, and now it zooms out. So basically the human scale. Now this we can still understand. It's a city block, about 300 meters both ways. Zooming out even further. The city center, something we can still walk around within and understand as something you can find different functions in. Then the city of The Hague becomes visible now. The whole city, about 10 kilometers. In order to see this in Google Earth, you also need to be about 10 kilometers high. So you can imagine more or less. This is what you see when you enter Spatial airport, zooming out even further, up to 60 kilometers in height. You see the whole south wing area, the south part of the Randstad, with the harbor very visible here. And then up to about 100 kilometers, and also across in both ways, the Randstad area. It still looks very green when you look at it from the perspective of the satellite photo. So this gives you really a good idea of the enormous amount of different scales that are in between the city level that we walk around in, and something we start to use more and more as basically our daily urban pattern. So, well, okay, basically, I think I'm probably, I want to talk along the same lines of that Joost already did, and it looks basically at the development of the Randstad and its very unique geographic features, which influence the way it developed over the years. And then I will go to a couple of points of well, you could say problems that we run into, and probably, and I think this is the most interesting point of the lecture, so I will try to reach that as soon as possible, the need for rethinking certain ways of using this urban area in the Randstad. And maybe that would be something which is interesting to talk about in more detail. Wait, this is the problem. That's already true. It's not 8, it's 9. Okay, so basically, well, this we know all now quite well, I think. The Randstad is based in the delta, border territory between land and sea, which is a handicap and is an advantage. So the handicap being the fact that it's flooding once in a while, either from the sea or from the rivers which bring the water in. And the advantage is that this border territory also means that you have very fertile land, very good agriculture, and it's very good for trade. The rivers gives you enormous hinterland already for centuries, basically. So, you also mentioned the point earlier. When you look at the geographic, geophysical setup of the Netherlands, you can compare basically to a bowl, especially the part where Randstad is located in, which basically would do nothing, would fill up, and it would look like something like this. So basically, we have to continuously work on the keeping dry of this this land. And if you put that in a diagram, it looks like something like this. So this is all the water coming in and going out of the Netherlands. And if you look at the diagram, you can see that, well, basically the rain and evaporation are basically the same. So is the water coming up out of the ground and going in. So the most important thing we have to do is get rid of the water that enters our land and make sure that exits our land to the sea. So this is the major task we have to look into. In the 20th century, this process only has been stepped up. And currently, with the climate crisis, this continuously becomes more and more of a problem. So, in the coastal area, basically, we managed to set up a series of rings of protection, dive rings, which are based on the formula that risk is chance times effect. So this is a very interesting idea that you protect an area and you also look what is the worth of this area. How important is this to your economic wealth or to the people living there? And you actually label how good you will be prepared for disaster. So here you can see the Randstad area is one of the most severely protected areas, but at the same time it's also the area in which most people live and in which most economic investments are being done. Well, this is the sort of geophysical situation. Then maybe it's interesting to look at the way the landscape organized our cities. Well, basically,